This is a power washer, and it said it just won't start. So I don't know the history of it. I don't know if it's the motor not starting, or is it starting up and the pump's not working. I have no idea, but it looks like it doesn't look like it's been used a whole lot, does it? It's pretty clean, just covered in pollen. You can see all the green pollen on top of everything, which is wreaking havoc with me. A lot of it's oak, and that kills me. I'm just getting over a bout of strep throat, so my throat is still pretty rough. But let's check and see what kind of... Well, it's got a lot of gas in it, which could be a bad thing. I don't know how old this gas is. Well, come on. There we go. And I'll bet it has oil, but might as well check and see there. It looks like there's two oil plugs. Yeah, because the oil trying to come out of it already. And it's full. That's good. I think I will take the air cleaner off, spray some carb cleaner down there, and see if it tries to fire. Boy, I hate getting sick. I'm almost over it. I have cabin fever. I should probably stay in bed, but well, I'm getting nothing. So I think I need to check for spark. See if we can see anything. Sometimes it's hard to get on there. I think that's got it. Oh, there's spark. That's a good sign. Because down here on the bottom of the float bowl, I can feel it varnished on the outside. So I'm going to take that carburetor off and clean it, but I think I need to take a breather. My throat is killing me. I think I'm going to hose this thing down first, get all the pollen off of it. Alright, so I took a little break. That's my dog barking at me. What is it? Yeah, Yeah, my throat is killing me. Well, I washed that one down, got all the loose pollen that was building up. I mean, it's all over everything. See it on that? There's this other washer over there. I'm still sick, but I want to get this one done, and I just finished that that steel hedge trimmer for him. I know he's been waiting. Sad thing is, I picked these up, he dropped them off, and the next day I got sick, so it's been a week, and I usually get everything turned over in a day or two, but I'm way far behind. But everything else, this one's a pretty nice washer too. I picked it up, but the pump was just frozen. And but it's a pretty decent washer. I'm gonna have to tackle that one of these days. But for now, I think all this needs is a carburetor clean. But what got me was, we checked for spark, it's getting spark, and when I try to shoot some carb cleaner in there, it still wouldn't, try to start, which is kind of strange. I was expecting to have it turn over, but I can feel even like under here, under the bowl, under the fuel solenoid or whatever. I don't think it's a solenoid, it's just a shut-off valve. But it's sticky, I can feel that varnish coming out of it. So I'm just going to take the whole thing off and clean it up. And with these, it looks like a standard Briggs & Stratton. Take this nut off, these two down here to release the carburetor, and sometimes I just loosen this one, and you got to pull this little handle deal off the lever so that you can take this piece off. But it's a pretty hefty engine. It's a 950, 208 cc. Pretty hefty. Pretty hefty engine on this washer. I think it, let's see, what's the rating on this? Yeah, 3,300 psi. That's pretty hefty. That's more than I would ever need. That one over there is a 775, and that's probably even more than I ever need. I just need to get a pump for it. My main one, the one I mainly use, is it's an old one, and it only has like a 3.5 Briggs & Stratton on it. Real small, but man, it does the job, and it's very reliable. So, let's see. Let's get that out. Get that little handle off. There we go. And there's that hose that's keeping it on. This little hose. Everything else looks pretty standard on this. Go and pull that. Let me crimp the fuel lines and take it off. Alright. go ahead and take all this stuff off. The governor linkage here, that's off. Alright, so the only thing holding it is the fuel line. There it goes. The gas smells good. Oh, don't tell me. You know, I ran into this once before, and I can't remember what I did. You can see the frame is in the way. I'm taking this all the way off. I think I had unscrewed these posts here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Well, what I can do, let me turn this up, and hopefully no gas is going to go everywhere. And maybe I can work from under here. I'll go ahead and take the float bowl off and see how bad it looks. Yeah, it looks pretty gunky. Well, let's take the float bowl off. Is that a 10 millimeter? Yep. Nope. Woo! Look at the gunk on the end of that. So I have a feeling this... Oh yeah. That bowl is caked. Yeah, sure. Yeah, even see the float's not even coming all the way down. In this case, I sure would like to take this whole carburetor off. The only other way I know is to loosen up the motor mounts and slide it forward a little bit. Let's see what that looks like. I think that's what I'll do. I want to take this sucker off and give it a good cleaning. And I don't think I'll be able to if I just try to do it the way it is. If it was just mediocre, I would clean it up like this, but all this stuff is jammed up. Alright, let's get under there. I'll bet that's probably a 1/2. Yeah, so just enough I can slide that over. Almost. Just all the way off. Take these two off. And, flip them over. There she blows. Alright, not too bad, but yeah, that one does need to be cleaned. Let's see if I can get this gasket off without stretching it. There we go. Yeah, this sucker was pretty dirty. Let's see, where's my little part cleaning bowl? I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm going to get this sprayed down and soaking while I look for it. Well, I found my part cleaning tray. Take a look at that. Believe it or not, this was off of... This is gunk that came off the last 3 carburetors that I cleaned. They were all ATVs. A couple of Yamahas, and was it 3 Yamahas? Yeah. A Yamaha 600 and then 2 Bear Trackers. I think they were 250s, but talk about gunked up. So I'm going to clean this up so I can have a clean cleaning tray. Alright, so that's a little better. Keep track of these carburetor parts. It sucks being sick. But I'm way behind. I gotta get some shit done, you know? But I'll get this cleaned up for this guy, and I'll take another break. I'm behind on some machine shop work too, which hopefully I'll be better tomorrow and do some CNC milling. I think I got about 6 hours 5 or 6 hours of work to do. Get that cleaned up. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, look at all the junk that I've gotten out of there so far. Let's put all this back together. This is probably going to pop back off. Let me put the carburetor in place first. There we go. Let's put that back in place. There we go. Choke on and off. So, well, I'm just going to go in reverse. I'm going to go under here and tighten up the motor back in place. Finish hooking up the the carburetor. Haven't decided if I'm going to drain the gas yet or not, because I'd almost bet he put new gas in it and tried to start it. Because it didn't smell funky, you know what I mean? It has that, you can tell when the gas has that smell to it. It is kind of yellowish, but not bad. Alright, so everything is back on except for the air cleaner. So the gas is on. I'm letting the float bowl fill. Let's see, choke is on that way. And then there's the throttle. Let's go midway. Choke is off. I'm going to spray some carb cleaner in there to prime it. There's the spark plug. Let's see if it's even going to try. Yeah, I guess it'd help if I turned it on. I had it in the off position that whole time. It's trying. Well, that did it. That is one hefty motor, man. That joker is... Sucker's got some power, doesn't it? You can hear it. We'll put all this back on, and I guess I'm gonna hook up the water and make sure the pump is doing okay, and I'll bet it is. Turn the fuel off. Alright, that did it. Even though I'm sick as a dog, I can still fix them. So it's in a pretty hefty motor there. But that's it. Just check it out, and I've run into this before with those motors where you just have to loosen it up and let the motor drop forward a little bit so you have clearance to take that carburetor off. Run into this, and on some tillers, I think it was a tiller, and maybe even on a shredder. And on the shredder it was more a belt drive, so the engine mounts are slotted, you know, so you can adjust the tension on the on that belt. But I've had to do that too, where I had to just loosen it up, move it forward, and I had access to the carburetor. But that's it, and it sounds like the gas was okay. I was worried about it being old gas, but I'd almost bet you that he put new gas in it and tried to start it, but it was way too late. That was a pretty messy carburetor. But that's it, normal checkup, and the oil's good and it's ready to go.